When I found out about the whole DJing thing and seeing it for the first time, I wanted to try it.
This is Tupac, and I got the vinyl.
I never thought I would get this far because, I was sitting at a little table, my little baby controller, and just making videos, and it just took off.
13-year-old Marley Desenord is the youngest DJ in the NBA, spinning tracks for the Miami Heat. It's a dream gig she says was only made possible thanks to her combined 140,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok.
They actually saw me through social media. They reached out one day, they emailed my dad.
Marley started making the videos when she was 7.
DJ Marley.
I was too young, so my dad had to open an account for me.
Within months, she'd gone viral.
I was in disbelief. I was like, wait, she's got this many followers already? And I'd be like, look, Marley, how many people are reviewing your videos? She'd be like, wow.
I was scared of social media for, kids, and, there's a lot of predators, and I'm the worry one here, but they did it, and now I encourage it.
Marley's dad, Rodney, says he actively manages the accounts, deleting any negative comments.
She never seen a negative comment ever. You got one that says, great job, Marley. I give her a set amount of minutes, 45 minutes a day, to do everything that she has to do. It's really just to help you stay disconnected from that.
But a new law in Florida threatens to shut down the avenue that's led Marley to her success.
I see where the government is coming from on that matter, but I also see that you can't paint just one brush and try to shut down social media for every child under 14.
There's two sides to this. I know there's kids who just use it, scroll for hours, all day, but then there's other kids like me who want to promote themselves.
The law called HB 3 would make it illegal for any child under the age of 14 to open a social media account. Users under that age would have to close theirs. Teens who are 14 and 15 would need parental consent to open an account. Tech companies could face fines for not removing users, and parents could sue them for up to $10,000.
We are putting the onus back on the platforms to comply with Florida law. It's akin to as if it was a warning on a pack of cigarettes.
Florida Democratic State Congresswoman Michelle Rayner helped spearhead the legislation through the state legislature.
I really want these social media companies to be held accountable for what they have been knowingly doing to our kids.
There you go.
HB 3 was signed into law in March by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis and is set to take effect in January.
Being buried in those devices all day is not the best way to grow up. It's not the best way to get a good education.
We see adults who can't regulate themselves on social media, but we're expecting, children ages, 13, 14, 15, even younger to be able to regulate.
According to federal law, 13 is the youngest legal age to open most social media accounts. But a 2023 advisory from the U.S. Surgeon General said nearly 40% of children ages 8 through 12 still have one.
The way social media, it asks you to keep coming back because of the dopamine hit you get when you receive likes or when you receive comments. So it's naturally designed to make it so that you can't put it down. And then what you are seeing is also potentially quite damaging.
Developmental psychologist Dr. Eliza Pressman says too many kids are spending too much time scrolling instead of sleeping, which can lead to sleep disorders, depression, and anxiety.
Sleep is so inextricably linked to mental health and growth and brain development. So sleep is key, and we often are scrolling at night in our beds.
At least 30 states put forward legislation this year claiming to improve kids' safety on and offline. But many of these measures are already facing backlash. The ACLU in Florida says the state's new law intrudes on free speech rights for adults and minors.
I've seen time and time again how little youth voices are considered.
Hannah Zulek is a queer 18-year-old. They were behind a lawsuit that helped repeal a Utah law that would have banned anyone under the age of 18 from using social media without parental approval.
There's not a whole lot of other ways to connect with queer communities in Utah if you're a minor and the group you're in isn't necessarily supportive. There are places to do that, but it's difficult.
Utah is now advancing 2 new bills meant to hold big tech responsible for age verification and preventing them from sharing and collecting minors' data without parental consent. The bills also limit screen time to 3 hours a day for anyone under 18 years old.
When I spoke at that committee hearing on the bill, I was the only person under 18 who spoke, and no one said anything about anything I'd brought up.
We wanted to speak directly to those most affected by new social media regulations, including Hannah, Marley, and their fellow Gen Zers.
I want to do an exercise here with all of you because we have the chance to be sitting with all of you together. Raise your hand if checking social media is something that you do within the first hour of waking up every day. A reluctant 6 hands.
It's definitely not the first thing I want to be doing every day.
No question, but yet it is.
Yet it is.
Why do you think that is?
A lot of my social interaction happens on social media, so it feels important and like I need to check it in the morning, you know? I want to see who's trying to talk to me, what's happening. Like my whole life revolves around it.
Whether or not my morning goes well is if I have notifications, or if I have notifications on Instagram or Snapchat. If people are trying to reach out to me, that kind of gives me a boost of like happiness in the morning. But at the same time, you have the risk of not having the right notifications that you want. You wake up, either you're in a good mood because of what you see, or you're in a bad mood. And usually it is you're in a bad mood.
What app, if you had to choose one?
Snapchat. I mean, for me and all of my friends, I think that's our main platform of communication. It's where I talk to everyone. I mean, I think sometimes I have so many conversations on my phone on Snapchat that I then see my friends in person and we don't have anything to even talk about because it's just, we've texted about it already.
So that leads us to this question of what to do about regulating social media. I'm so happy that we get a chance to sit and talk to all of you because you guys are the people who might be most affected by a lot of what's talked about from lawmakers. Start with you, Zaman. You have made a push to be kind of on the front lines of regulating social media.
So I would love to know from all of you what we can do.
Some of the regulation that we're thinking about puts the onus on the social media platforms to build these products to be safer for kids and teens rather than like us and our parents trying to police and figure out like how to use these platforms effectively.
If I were to provide regulations, it would be just reminders when you open the app, maybe like, this is not real. This is not what reality is. This is curated to fit what you want to see.
Do you feel like even a simple reminder like that would make a difference?
Yeah, definitely. I think positive affirmations on Instagram, for example, would actually help the audience a little bit. Like just to remind them that it's not real. It's just curated.
We grew up with these apps. Social media should be a safe space for us to express ourselves and explore our identities. And we have to think of social media almost as a playground where kids are growing up and they're meeting new people. And do we really want their equipment to be defective?
Social media is enough a part of our world at this point that it's not going to go away. And if we simply ban it for everybody under the age of 18, say, then we have the problem of as soon as these people turn 18, well, then you wander into the world that's full of social media and you don't know what to do with it.
Marley, I'm curious what you think about that, having had such a big break at the age of 7, in part because of social media.
I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I feel like it should be more up to the parents. And they can do that. Like, for example, screen time, to limit how much their kids are on social media and stuff like that.
What do you think, Miriam? Do you think that this is a solution? Are some of these, even just little nudges on the apps, a solution to help get rid of some of that negativity?
In a perfect world, there wouldn't even be an algorithm that is based on what you like to see. I know that's not what a lot of people like to hear. In like all the posts, I feel like you should be exposed to multiple concepts.
I mean, for me, I disagree with that because I like opening social media and seeing the stuff I like. Like outside of DJing, I like watching the basketball stuff and even just stuff like that.
I probably wouldn't use social media as much as I do, you know, if it wasn't curated to what I like. But I think that also I don't want to be on social media as much as I am to begin with.